Good morning, everybody. We are here for the first run officially. Officially. We had the pre show yesterday, but we are here for the official kickoff of the marathon. I am Saracen, joined by the fabulous crew of the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer as we're going to be kicking off this race. Race, right? They looked like they were in different starting positions, so I got confused.
Nope, they're just loading up the seat.
Gotcha. So Saberwolf, One Free Fits in the booth with me here. How y'all doing today?
I'm doing
fantastic.
Excellent. Well, as we're looking forward to this race, I do want to shout out we had another big donation come in from Nobody War. Looks like we're going to be putting that towards the Sunday opera, which I always look forward to getting more of the opera in there. But why don't you folks tell us about our runners here and what we're looking forward to?
Yep. So what we have for you all, folks, today is our Moogle Cup, our tournament group. We just had an event about a month ago. We call it the Moogle Cup, which is brand new players to the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide game that want to learn how to play the game, that want to be able to speed run the game. And we do a little tournament that not only does the player play, but they actually have a mentor or coach that sits with them and helps them learn how to play the game. Try to figure out some instances of how to get around certain things and parts of the game. And we just had a tournament. So these are 4 of our newest runners. These were all quarterfinalists for that latest tournament. So these are 4 of our top 30 new players that we have in our community. So cool there.
Rock on. From a settings standpoint, I see it jumping around real fast here. All right. All 4 of 6 characters, 9 espers, perform the opera and save Sid. These are very reasonable settings.
Well, you can talk. Sorry.
Yeah, so we really put together for the new players kind of a flag set that is close to our racing league, but a little bit more generous. So we're gonna see better stats on characters than we would normally see. We're gonna see higher availability of powerful weapons, cheap breakable rods, the ever powerful bouncy ball, aka super balls. So it's a great flag set for learning because we're not so much worried about how am I going to get the offense to get through the game, and running these flags quickly often comes down to executing the fundamentals of reducing time in menu, really optimizing how long we spend looting and shopping and execution in battle. And all 4 runners pretty quickly developed those fundamentals. We'll be demonstrating them for us today.
Awesome. I have done a couple casual runs of Worlds Collide and had a great deal of fun with it. So if you're in the community and you haven't tried it out yet, definitely go give them a check out. ff6wc.com, right? Or did that link change over time?
It's ff6worldscollide.com. That is the current one right now. The other one we don't have access to anymore, fortunately, so it is ff6worldscollide.com. We've put a little /Discord at the end of that. They'll get you to our Discord.
Fabulous. So, does it look like our runners are about ready here?
Yep. All our runners are ready. I'll give them the 1-minute warning then.
Oh, that's right. We get the Umaro starting first.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Best Yeti.
Indeed, and I know there was conversation in the chat that we've had a few of our runners agree tentatively to take Umaro all the way to the finish line to really show off.
I love it.
The power of Yeti Smash. It can be a bit of a spicy proposition because they're uncontrollable, and the final fight has a lot of counters that we want to happen when we want them to happen, and sometimes Umaro decides otherwise. And so there's definitely some strategies to mitigate that, and we'll try to point those out when we get there.
Okay, our runner should be starting here in just a little bit. Of course, we have a little bit of stream delay, of course, because we're going from a stream to stream, but they should be starting here in a couple seconds.
While we are waiting on that, we did have one more donation come in from Physics Shebang. $50 saying,
Hey,
can't wait to see these four fierce Moogles duke it out here at the FFR Marathon. Thank you all so much for your hard work during this marathon benefiting such an amazing cause. Runners, don't get doomgazed. Remember your Magimaster strats and go fast.
all right, looks like we do have that Yamara start as we planned before. We have a Terra with natural jump, Gao with lore, and I didn't see what the extra ability is.
The
actually.
slap.
Okay.
Pretty good starting abilities. We're gonna shut up very quickly because we're already getting an Opera House appearance on.
Yep, so we'll just pause, I believe we're on sigils, so we'll give it a pause for the opera. Okay, and that is the opera scene from Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide, where Celeste disguises herself as another character to try and persuade themselves to get on the censored ship in the vanilla part of the game. And we're now officially off and running now. So,
Indeed, we did get a one of the Moogle Cup flags. We get a reward for performing in the opera, high tier item. I saw it was a Illumina, which Terra can naturally wear. There is a random chance that, any character can equip a piece of item outside of their vanilla equipment permissions. And now we're going to see our runners start to kind of get into the game here. I guess we should talk a little bit, Saberwolf, kind of how it works. So we have these 3 characters, and they allow us to complete events or dungeons in the game that are related to their story in vanilla. So the Yeti, we can go to the World of Balance behind the Frozen Esper, to their house, and potentially get a character, Esper, or high tier item. Terra has 5 different checks associated with her. We're seeing Saris heading for one of them now, being the sealed cave here, and Gao has their dried meat check, which we can do on the Veld with 3 characters and dried meat, which I saw Lee found at least, so someone's got it. And then additionally, we can hop in the Serpent Trench and fight through some enemies and get a reward at the end. So generally, we're trying to get power. We're trying to get the progression. As we mentioned at the beginning, we need 6 characters and 9 Espers, in addition to doing the opera and saving Sid in order to access the final boss fight.
yeah, definitely. And there is a way to get a skip, by the way, everybody. Now, if they get like 9 characters or 12 Espers or complete 22 checks, they will be able to what's called get the skip into Kefka's Tower. It's a little bit of a catch-up mechanic that we have built into the randomizer for the base, I guess, say competition flag sets that we do have, and that allows our runners to jump immediately to what's called statue switches. Those are the switches about halfway through Kefka's Tower, which is the final dungeon for this game. So if you get way too many characters or Espers, or you did way too many checks, and you get what's called a dead check, which means you don't get a character or Esper, you get a random high tier item. If you get too many of any of those, then that allows you to do a little bit of, like I said, a catch-up mechanic, gets you further into the game to the final level. So, and so far,
so the early phase, we're looting, we're shopping, we're looking for power.
Yeah.
Usually enough to get through a boss or 2. While at the same time, and there's an egg kind of out of the way on Dwea's screen. At the same time, we're trying to build the offense in order to actually beat the kind of final boss gauntlet and final Kefka themselves. That Illumina is in-game offense. It will need a little bit of levels to kind of get online early. I think with having Gao with lore and slot, magic abilities are relatively more powerful at lower levels, and he had decent magic power too, so between the Illumina and those commands, I would be feeling pretty comfortable, kind of once I got some earrings, some consumables, that I'd be ready to start kind of hitting those checks. We're putting the egg on the Yeti, which...
Interesting. Well, that'll help us, because that'll help us in the Coliseum. Yeti is a great starting character for Coliseum fights, because the only command they'd have is fight. Sometimes when you play the other characters, it's an AI-controlled environment when you go into Coliseum. Coliseum of Final Fantasy VI is you bet an item, you have to fight one random monster, one of your characters versus that one random monster, and you get a reward. It's kind of like betting, like you do in gambling, sort of spill up the way. And the Yeti is usually the best one, because 1, they're tanky, and 2, they only know the fight command, and that fight command is usually stronger than other commands are, versus the AI-controlled characters might cast, I don't know, poison or bio multiple times on something that actually heals it. Just to catch everybody up, what's going on? Windblown Leaf's doing their opera check now. We see a bunch of ninjas on screen. This can be a difficult fight for Dwea, but this is a respawn fight. It's always going to be this fight every single time. Cirrus Rose did complete the Tistera check, which is the Esper Cave, which is behind the base in the World of Balance. The reward for that is Fenrir, so of course, as a Fenrir Esper, I got to do my contractual obligation of giving hour because it is a wolf. And Sigil was the one we were listening to. It's the audio we're listening to right now on the upper right-hand side. They're doing their looting, going through, I believe that's T-Zen.
Mm-hmm.
Can I sneak in with a couple donations?
Great.
The pun train has already started. We have 2 donations from Drinks Glue for $10 each. First one, why did Umaro start a band? To drop some cold beats.
Oh, God.
And where does Umaro go to dance? The Snowball.
Blue, we're going to have some words, buddy.
if you want to hear puns on the air, this is how you get them. We have another one coming in real quick from Chanigan, $10. Good luck on the marathon, everyone. Put my donation toward the random enemy AI on Xanadu randomizer. Xanadu? I never know how to say that one, because we always need more randomness.
Yeah, Rando's got a Rando sometime.
Mm-hmm. Indeed. Yeah, shout out to Drinks Glue. They are the organizer behind the Moogle Cup and have helped kind of put that program together. And we've seen a lot of new runners get up to speed a lot faster than before we did it.
Yeah, also give a shout out to Laser Ghana with a rate of 6 for our event. Thank you for that.
Welcome, Raiders. One more donation came in from Jbrun TR. $50, donating toward the Unpetted Canine Rehabilitation Fund. Or failing that, commenter's choice. Good luck, Moogles. Validate the seed and pet those dogs.
So what Jbrun is mentioning is that one of the checks for Terra is going to be in Mobla's World of Ruin. And there's a couple of dogs on the upper corner of the map on that screen. So we'll have to see if our runners do pet those doggos up there on the upper part of the screen. That will definitely give them the ability to actually give them the full completion of the game or not. At least in the community's eye. Yeah, so usually, like we were Fence and I were mentioning before, is that the first about, I want to say 10, these are newer runners, so maybe 15 minutes of the run. Of course, we also have the Opera House looped in here. So it's good. So the looting is going to take a little bit longer than usual, but it was all for good cause. Thank you for the incentives there. It's going to take a little bit longer than usual to do the looting here. And also, as I say that, Windblown Leaf is now going to do the Save the Sid mini game that we have here. This is Sid right here. So what you're going to have to do for Save Sid is you go down south here. You got to catch these fish here in the water. The AI just randomly kind of moves around on the screen. You want to get the faster ones. You have to click on the fish and catch them. And then you feed them to Sid to try to save them, to bring them back to health. You basically stuff them with fish. I don't know how that's a healthy thing, but yeah. Unfortunately, these fish don't always get along very well. Hopefully Yeti can catch this one. Oh, you gotta hit A. There you go. So you grab A, you grab the fish, bring it back into the house, and you have to keep feeding him the fast-moving fish, which is going to raise his health pool that's all invisible. And if you give him the slower moving fish or you just ignore him completely, he will die. So it is a little morbid mini game, but it does affect it affects the game just a little bit story wise, just in the early part of the second half of the game. But thank you to your incentives for the $80 donation minimum, I believe it was. Our runners have to do this in order to beat the game.
Mm-hmm. Now Leaf is getting good fish RNG here. A lot of fast fish. Very close to the water. Now, I also know, because we were talking about this ahead of time, I don't think Leaf has ever done this in the vanilla game.
Hey.
In fact, they said they never played vanilla, so this was their first time doing this mini game, and they crushed it.
Yes, Leaf was grilling me before the run. And he's like, "How do you do the opera? How do you do the sit thing?" It's like, and I just kind of walked him through it real quick. So, but they got it. They immediately get it. They get the high tier armor piece item for that. which usually I think is going to be like a behemoth suit or a Gigi armor or something like that, which is something that's going to be very nice for our runners to have. Of course, again, itemization wise, the characters will have a chance to equip gear that wouldn't normally be able to equip. So,
Dwayne also getting some good fish RNG so far.
fish. Oh, Windblown Leaf is giving you a little peek into the Coliseum that I mentioned before. This is a big Yeti thing. Oral Lance is pretty good. Fire Shield's good. Thunder Shield's good. Also see a golden hairpin, cat hood,
Sniper.
fire rod. Wow, we have a lot of good stuff in here. Atma
really
weapon.
Get in.
Oh, just a bounty doggo. Oh no, we're not petting dogs. We're hurting dogs. Oh no.
I mean, is that a dog or is it a man inside of a dog costume?
I know, Bounty Man. It's a dog. I never got that sprite.
So the Coliseum and the Moogle Cup flags, normally there's like a range of rewards that we are able to see what we get for offering. This was not
goodness gracious.
That's going to be an accidental hitting the Doomgaze spot, so Leaf knows, and they won't have to worry about Poltergeist for the rest of the seed unless they find Sensor. Unfortunately, they are going to have to refight.
Oh no!
Fight. It's out of paranoia that I frequently save in the world of Ruin before flying around, just because you play this game enough and you will run into something up there and lose time. But that was like 30 seconds. Not too bad.
Oh no, Dewey's getting some bad RNG, by the way.
That we're gonna okay. I was gonna say it's gonna be in the same spot probably.
Yeah, you have to talk to Sid in order to reset the fish, unfortunately. And then you can move on again to get another one. Oh, no fish at all. Oh, goodness gracious.
Rough.
No, you have to talk to Sid to get the reset, unfortunately. But yeah, what you were talking about, the Doomgaze, what the Doomgaze check is, there's a random pixel on the World of Ruin map when you fly around the airship that is hiding. And if you just happen to hit that one spot, you trigger that boss fight. Now, if you do get Setzer into your party, that will give you the ability to force activate that to get into that fight when you're in the World of Ruin, when you're flying around the airship. So it gives you an extra option instead of landing or switching from World of Balance to World of Ruin the airship. It gives you the option to execute the Search the Skies, is what's called, check. There's the dried meat for a Phoenix down on the Velt, and Wind Belief will probably go into the Serpent Trench right after this, as Dwaya, Sigil, and Cirrus Rose struggle through the catching of fish. I mean, watching Yeti catch these fish is like watching a bear catch fish on a stream right now.
Mm-hmm. It's very challenging, and during a race, it feels like you're there. At least for me, I felt like I've been there forever. Like, where it's just like, come on. A little nuance too is that Windblown Leaf hasn't taken any encounters yet, and so when they went to the Velt to do that check, they knew they were only going to get Lobos, the the most like entry level enemy in the game. A couple of our other runners have taken fights, and so when they go there, they will see what they have encountered so far. And I think particularly for Dwaya, because they ran into that covert ogre formation.
Yeah, that's gonna be a little rougher for her.
That Velt check, I don't know. I might skip it until later, to be perfectly honest, because like that's what can really take up a lot of time, is when there's hard enemies that we have to fight there, and we're not guaranteed to get the check to show up. And I haven't seen if our other runners have gotten that out of the way egg. At least I would consider it out of the way. I don't usually run down there and get that.
Yeah,
checked.
It's on that ledge that Windblown just walked by. Was that what it is?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, Sigil with the early dragon play again. Do you have some breakables? I did see some fire rods in the Coliseum. Let's see if they have any fire rods. Oh, super balls. Super balls. These are some bouncy balls that do a lot of damage. They are based on your magic power To hit with the oh yeah, okay, that'll do it.
Yeah, they're very advantageous early because they're not level dependent. They are random. But at lower scaling, we can usually bop a dragon with 1 or 2. We used to have them in our racing flag set, and it kind of became the meta of like find super balls, smash a dragon or 2, and then hopefully find some more offense along the way. They do kind of drop off as time goes on in the seed because they don't scale with any of our stats, and so they're, I would say, most useful in like the first 20 or 30 minutes of a seed before their value starts to drop off. We can also visually tell relatively how much damage they're going to do by like the number of like bouncy balls. Like it's devastating when we see the single ball because we know it's going to be like 200 damage.
Just want a brief briefing on the tracking for our players right now. Sigil's at 3 characters, 3 espers, 1 dragon. Dwaya is at 3 characters, 1 esper. Windbone Leaf is at 3 characters, 2 espers. And Ceres Rose, who is in the Serpent fighting a bunch of undead enemies, which if you have some Revivifies or some Phoenix Downs, you'll be able to kill those instantly. They're currently at 3 characters, 3 espers. So Sigil and Ceres, a little bit of a lead here with 3 characters, 3 espers each.
Yeah, for Ceres, these are great fights to see. I feel like we've talked at least once about scaling. So the enemy levels, the boss levels, they are going to go up based on how many characters and espers that we have fought. In the Moogle Cup settings, dragons are free in the sense that they do not raise enemy levels for defeating them, which I think kind of incentivizes them even more in Moogle Cup. But that's definitely a thing our runners kind of think about as they go through the seed, is like, what are my levels, and based on my progress, what am I expecting the enemy levels to be? It can be advantageous to grab a bunch of early progression without taking fights and slingshot very quickly up to like level 12 or 14, but it can be risky because we might not find an encounter that we can easily get through. Now, this Zombone, the undead enemies, are usually one of the things we want to see to help us, because we can just drop a Phoenix down or Revivify on them and one-shot them.
Yep. Sarah says, and this is what you were talking about before on Dwaya's screen, that is the ogre thing again with the ninja. So this is what you were talking about before with possibly getting that encounter, so the Lobo encounter there on the Veld. Sigil's doing another dragon here. It's Stormy, which they found at the top of the World of Ruin Narsh area, which happens to also be the Yeti area. Ooh, that wind slash might be a little hurtful. He got through it, no problem. Windbone Leaf is attacking the undead enemies under the trench. Ceres is about halfway through the trench right now. So it looks like Windbone Leaf, Ceres, and Dwyer are pretty much going in the same areas. Well, Sigil, a completely different track going up against these dragons, but this one seems to be scaled a little bit higher than the other ones. Hopefully the Super Bowl will take care of it. And crack pow, there it is.
Yeah, I think.
And the match like, ooh, Gollum. That's a big Esper at the end of trench.
We do have multi-summon in the Moogle Cup. So normally in vanilla we can only summon an Esper once per fight, which normally is all that we need. But Golem and Fenrir being able to summon those multiple times definitely mitigates some of the danger of the final Kefka fight. Dwaya just getting unfortunate with the formations there. Another thing I was going to mention just from some of the Moogle Cup, about the racers, I would say Windblown Leaf tends to be pretty light on their shopping. They're pretty aggressive out of the gate, which a lot of times pays off in terms of saving time, but sometimes it means like, maybe we don't have as many Revivifies or Phoenix Downs to be able to easily throw those out for an undead mob. But Dwaya finally, they're probably like, yes.
Yeah, and
Getting what
hopefully
they're
this
looking for.
meat goes off for the Yeti attacks. There we go.
Yeah, we didn't mention that like there are times that, like, for instance, yes, this meat check where if we don't throw the dried meat before the Yeti gets their turn, they will hit that ghost, and then the ghost will run away. We have to do it again. Usually the trick there is just to make sure that the Umara lands the last blow on a Veld monster. There are other things that we can do sometimes to, like, run in, like, this would be a boss fight that we couldn't run from, but sometimes we will, like, run to prevent Yeti from taking a turn. Such as, like, Chatternook would be an example of, if we have Umaru in that fight, we're going to hold run until they go into demon mode. That way the Yeti doesn't provoke any counters from attacking the
Oh, wow.
painting
Okay,
part.
so sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but a big couple updates here. Saris Rose finding Edgar behind the terror check in the leader fight. It's a vanilla fight, French vanilla fight, really. There, and then right behind Yeti is, I believe it was Sabin. So the two Figaro brothers hanging out in Narsh here. So we do know where some of our characters are. That is a Blitz using Edgar, so swapping roles here between Edgar and Sabin. They are brothers in the game. So we do know where several of the characters are.
Yeah, that's 5 all day. Another Illuminate user, so if we learn some powerful magic for Terra, we definitely know Edgar can also use an Illumina. So we'd love to find characters that we can spread out some offense. There's some fixed dice hanging around in people's inventory. I think Gal right now is the only one that can use it, and he doesn't have a fight command.
Yeah.
There's also an Atma weapon that is what was that, Mithril knife? Everyone's gonna have one of those kicking around, so the tools are starting to come together, and we have an old man with shock on the throne.
Oh, wow. Okay,
And
so
natural
we
magic.
do know where. Okay, and he's on the throne. So we know where Strago is. We know where Edgar is. We know where Sabin is, because Sales are going after Sabin right now. I'll mention on lore, by the way. Quasar, Rantrain, Pearlwind, Blowfish, all the good ones available.
Yeah, Gal is
Gal.
sad and doesn't honestly need to learn any spells. They just, if we found a magic power boosting Esper, throw it on them.
Yep, set it and forget it.
They're good. So the offense is definitely shaping up for speed. It's not guaranteed, even though we've, kind of nudged the numbers. There is still randomness, and I've mentored a couple of Moogle Cup races where it was like nothing, fishing around in the Coliseum and hoping we can make something happen. But for this marathon, the seed has been generous, giving out a lot of goods. And this is where I think those fundamentals are going to come in of who will finish first is probably going to be more of a product of who can minimize time in the menus, being really aggressive about, I have enough power, I'm not going to shops anymore, I'm not opening out of the way chests, and then leveraging that power in battle in like an action efficient way. So yeah, I think it'll be another interesting sort of showcase of how to go fast in Worlds Collide. Having big weapons is definitely part of it, but then it's using those wisely.
Yep, you got to go fast. We're about 30 minutes into the run, everybody. We want to thank you for joining us here on Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter 2024 Random Marathon. Right now, you're watching the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide Randomizer. It's a randomized version of Final Fantasy VI or 3. Depending on which generation you grew up in, whether it was a Super NES version back in 1994. Yes, this game is 30 years old, everybody. Sorry if I made you feel old there. Mostly the Worlds Collide version of this randomizer centers on speedrunning and competitive form or tournament play, but this centers can be easily manipulated through the customization that we have on our website. And today we are featuring what we call the easy adaptation of competitive running. This is the Moogle Cup. Some of our newer runners just went through a tournament last month. Normally would have a coach with them or a mentor with them, helping them throughout the run. But these Moogles are on their own, and they're seasoned Moogle veterans as they are. And want to thank Final Fantasy Randomizer for letting us do this for them and help them raise the benefit for South Carolina Burn Children's Fund. It's a charity dedicated to easing the recovery process of pediatric burn patients and their families in South Carolina. Again, 100% of all the donations here will go to that great charity. So thank you all for that.
I mean, since you kicked that off, can I just do a little bit more promo on them?
Go ahead.
Heck yeah.
So this is our third year supporting the Burn Children's Fund, and this has been a big year for the charity. They have officially gone off on their own. They're no longer a joint venture with the Medical University of South Carolina. And they've really pushed to be a more statewide focused organization. So that has involved getting a new camp location in Eastover, South Carolina, moving the foundation into the South Carolina Firefighters Foundation instead of the MUSC Foundation, connecting with Doctors Hospital Burn Center in Augusta, Georgia to expand patient outreach. And this has been a focus to increase the overall reach of the program with a 50% increase this year in campers versus last year. So going from 15 to 30. That is huge. And they're targeting another 66% increase for next. I'm sorry, 20 to 30. But another 66% increase is targeted for next year to go up to 50. This is big work that they're looking to do. And any donations that we get, that's going 100% to the kids. This is a fantastically efficient program in that regard. They're not skimming off for admin costs or anything like that. So everything that you're doing is helping a pediatric burn patient and their families. Fantastic cause. Donate if you can. Understand if you can't, get eyeballs here. We like eyeballs too. So, yeah, with that, I'll toss it back to you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. So what we got going on here?
On Sarasota side, we do have the Dead Check Ice Shield for them. Dwayne is heading their way up to the top of the mountain here in Norse World of Ruin to fight the same things. We're going to get the Dead Check Ice Shield plus the Dragon up top and the Sabin hiding behind the Amaro check there. Windbone Leaf, a new check for us here. They are down in the engine room of South Figaro. This is a Edgar check here. It's the Yeti. We have Yeti on Yeti action here, where the vines normally would be there. And on Sigil side, doing some prep work shopping there. Oh, they're doing Collapsing House, which is being held up by a merchant. That's where you find Sabin in the World of Ruin. Sorry, spoilers. I don't play the game. You're going to see a lot of spoilers here. They're currently holding up the house. So you got to do is run in the house, grab the kid off the top of the fireplace. Why he's on top of the fireplace, I have no idea. But they're on top of the fireplace. You have to grab the kid and run back out of the house.
Inside of the collapsing house.
Yeah, I mean,
encounters in here. He's using zombie tactics of get to a high place.
I guess so.
I always imagine when we have
though?
this Umaro boss fight and we have Umaro in the party that this is like the Cecil scene from Final Fantasy 4. So, by doing this, we go from
You
Dark
must
Knight
fight
Umaro
your
to
past.
Paladin Umaro. He should get True Knight as
oh god,
it's like an ability when you beat him. Like he's had to fight himself to unlock.
Well, that's actually a great relic on Yeti, because especially if you have like a VK, which is a Valiant Knife. Valiant Knife's a weapon that scales on how much HP you're missing, not how much HP you have, which is Atma's the other direction. But if you have a VK user that has supposed to have low health to maximize your damage, put a True Knight on Yeti that has a good set of armor. I mean, Snow Muffler is a great piece of armor, and they give him like a shield or a helmet. Put them in the back row. They'll automatically block a low health character that is being physically attacked. Doesn't block magic, physical attacks only. But it can actually save your low health character in a pinch. Natural magic also, by the way, on the Strago with shock.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Leaf having to make a tough call.
Is he going to give up on the Yeti for the shock for the Leo? Old man Leo. He is. Old man Leo gets put on the bench.
You know, it was like what I saw there was, you know, the decision that we would make in a competitive race, which is probably like, yes, Umaro gets benched at that point. But then they remembered that there was discussion of an agreement.
Yeah.
For the viewers to take it all the way.
For the people.
Yeah, shock is nifty. It does split damage. Is shock defense magic defense ignoring, or
it is magic ignoring. However, it is spread damage. So the more creatures that are on screen, the less amount of damage they do. Sigil's doing a great check here. It's a save it check. It is the Imperial camp. This is a really good check because, well, there's no bosses to fight. It's just regular random fights. So this, along with Gao's Serpent Trench, if you start with either of these characters, these are very, very good fights to get into because usually the monsters are going to be easy. You get a little bit of XP, and you can learn some basic spells before you go and jump into the meat and potatoes of the parts of the game. That's going to have bosses and dragons and other stuff. It's going to be a little more difficult to fight through.
Yeah, this is definitely one of the checks where we can get a preview of the reward. And so if we were looking for characters and we saw that soldier, we might reset and go look elsewhere. In this case, we're not looking for characters so much as those tasty espers. So interesting thing about those Vo mammoths that Sigil is fighting. They're beginning of the game enemies, but because of like quirks of scaling and the fact that they're so low level, is that when they get scaled up, they have a lot of hit points, and they drop like good rewards too. It's just like a weird, you know, one of those weird kind of mechanical interactions. Because I think vanilla they're like level 1, level 2. Ooh.
Draw your attention over to Windbone Leafs' screen. That is going to be a Katana Soul. They hide in the there's one of the chests that they hide in, and the reward for that is Offering, which allows a relic that allows you to hit 4 times. It's a great item for Atma weapon if we still have that weapon on us. Allows us to hit with that weapon 4 times without reducing the amount of damage it swings per hit. So that's going to be a great pickup for them here in just a second. I do want to update everybody. Do I have 4 characters, 4 espers? Do I have 4 characters, 3 espers? Sigil, 4 characters, 5 espers for them. Windblown Leaf is 5 characters, 4 espers, and Saris Rose, 6 characters, 5 espers. They are cooking.
Yeah, I saw on their screen as well. There's an Abba weapon for sale in the World of Ruin Zen. So we saw one in the Coliseum. Now we've seen one in a shop, which is kind of more likely everyone's going to be running around with the big swords. Yeah, the offering normally on a lot of weapons, we wouldn't want to use it, such as an Illumina. We do less damage with those swings, but because of interesting nuance with how the damage formula works for Atma weapon and Valiant knife, that those particular formulas do their damage calculations like after the offering damage, so like they're not actually harmed by the damage reduction as much. That wasn't the best explanation because this is me trying to
It's math.
Explain
you
the
math.
algorithms FAQ, and so
But if you want to get into the nerdy stuff of the mathematicals on that, head over to our Discord. There's huge conversations over there on that, especially in the beginner chat. If you ask a question on there, you'll probably have it answered within 5 minutes of it posting. So very active group over there. I think we have 2,800 people in our Discord now. So wow. It's really grown leaps and bounds over the past year. I think we've doubled the numbers in the past year and a half. So keep them coming. Keep the questions coming. We love to help teach you how to play the game and everything. Saris Rose, by the way, getting their steps in today. They're climbing up the big, long staircase. It's always going to be a high-tier item at the top of the stairs, but then on the way back down, you fight the boss. This normally would be Magi Master. probably one of the toughest bosses in the game. Of course, the bosses are randomized. They did see, I believe it was a random NPC in the conga line at the bottom of the screen that's going to indicate it's going to be an Esper or item. I think it's automatically an Esper. I think this is a guaranteed Esper or character on this check in particular. As a Windbone Leaf is now getting their dragon on.
Dullahan. Yeah, the mechanic in Fanatic's Tower that it's magic only, that is still in place.
Does Windbone Leaf's Edgar have double VK? Is that what he's swinging? The damage so low. I was just trying to figure out.
Valiant knives.
He was swinging 2 knives, Genji gloving it. I wasn't, but I don't know what weapon that was.
Field.
Yeah, well, double check on that, unless somebody knows what's happening. No, it's an Illumina Atma. Okay, well, the levels are too low for Atma. Atma weapon doesn't really come online until around level 32. In the vanilla part of the game, Atma weapon, the leveling algorithm comes online at level 64. But because we're speedrunning and there's almost never going to be a chance you're ever going to get past really level 45 at most. So we changed the algorithm, lowered it down to level 32. So that's about when it actually comes online. Now, it still does have the armor ignoring damage properties of it the whole time, but the actual damage calculation of it doesn't really come on until around level 32. So,
yeah, and just overall, and the way with the damage formulas work is that level is a significantly heavier weighted factor in physical damage, and the magic stat is the most heavily weighted kind of stat when it comes to magic damage. So levels is still a factor in magic damage, it's just not as significant, and that's where when we're talking about like Atma not being online, it has a special formula that takes level even more into account, as Saberwolf was explaining there. So
yeah, not so much the vigor, which vigor is strength modifier. Actually, with the Atma weapon, you want to offering an Atlas armlet. Atlas armlet will actually almost double the amount of damage the Atma weapon is actually doing per swing. And also on all other items that we were explaining before, if you use like an Illumina or something like that, that's actually going to lower the amount of damage you're doing with it. But as somebody mentioned in chat, Kamir, by the way, did you see the other day? They're trying to get extra pearl procs to occur with the swings in order to try to get the damage out that way. Sigil, by the way, free falling off the ledge here to the waterfall check. That is one of Saban's check, which is normally where the piranhas would be. Windbone Leafs looks like they're going to go into World of Balance Zozo. So World of Ruin, maybe? Oh, he must have a cyan. Must have gotten a cyan somewhere.
Cyan was in the bottom of Ancient Castle.
Okay, so this would be dragon number 4 for them, right?
Yeah, Edgar led to 2 characters directly. Because there was Strago on the throne, and then Cyan was in the basement. And then additionally, this is something I don't know if we've mentioned so much, is that due to logic, newer characters have a higher probability within their checks of leading to new characters. It's not a guarantee, but generally, if we need more characters, we should hunt around in our most recently found characters checks. And if we're looking for espers, our best chance is poking around in our starting characters checks. Now, we've seen a lot of those. I think the only another character. The only ones that are out there from our starters that we haven't seen, I think, is Mobleys and Lee River. Did we see the Zozo check? And a different character for Sigil here. We've got the mysterious Shadow.
I also want to reiterate, Windbone Leaf, them, I'm sorry about that. But they just got a Moogle. By the way, they did run past the dragon there. There's a dragon hiding in that chest back in this previous room they're about to walk into here. They probably some people like to skip it because if they get an Esper, that might have, like, say, Ultima on it. They'll be able to learn that faster if you get the Esper first, then go back for the dragon before you teleport out. That's a little bit of a tactic that you can do to try to learn stuff faster. Regular Atma over here on the right side of the screen with Saris Rose joining them in the waterfall here. Oh no, Stone. This could be rough. Oh no,
Lego's
everybody.
fine.
Oh, luckily Quarter missed everybody, but Tara doesn't care. She hits the right
Nice.
target. Boom, bow, gets through anyways.
That never happens to me. I'm glad it
Never
happened.
lucky?
I'm glad it happened for them, but it never happens for me. My party always wipes themselves immediately after that.
Hashtag never lucky. Sigil just doing the Serpent Trench run now. Apparently, Yeti does have a Rage Ring on them because they're able to pick up their fellow characters and chuck them at the monsters. This is a character at the bottom of the waterfall here, Shadow. Another character. We are Pokemoning it up, guys. We got to catch them all for this particular seed run here. So shortcut, like I mentioned before, shortcut 9 characters, 12 Espers, 4 team checks. 9 characters is definitely going to be a possibility here.
Yeah, definitely. Just looking into it. It's definitely it's still a little bit early to truly say who is ahead. I do feel like Saris feels like they're going faster, and from like a check count, they're doing pretty well. I mean, they're at 7-7 right now with 2 dragons. They're hunting espers and have quite a few sort of like peekable early on checks to try to find them. We're gonna see. We haven't seen the Phantom Train yet.
Yeah, it's an Esper.
That'll be Esper. Okay.
Phantom Train is going to be an Esper here over on Dwyer's screen. That is the Palador one. Saris Rose doing the camp now. I believe that's an Esper as well.
That's an Esper, yeah.
Windbone Leaf, 7 characters, 5 Espers. I believe they're the ones that picked up the Shadow just now. Or who picked up Shadow? I'm sorry. Oh, sorry, that was Saris. Saris picked up Shadow. Already did the Gout check. Also has the Cave in the Veld check, which also is a peekable check. To see what that item is. Although the only different one, though, on that one is that if you do see an NPC laying on the ground, that will be a automatic known dead check. You'll see an Esper on the ground if it's an Esper, but if you see an NPC, unlike some of the other checks in the game, you know this is going to be a dead check. So, Windbone Leaf, by the way, heading back into the. I believe they're going to head back to the Opera House here to get another dragon under their belt. I guess they're doing Oops All Dragons, apparently.
Yeah, they're looking for the legendary 9th dragon.
I guess, which is not in this version of the game.
Not in this
I believe that's only in the Game Boy version.
But it's also that, like, levels are the most consistent way to gain power. And especially, again, with dragons not increasing the scaling, it means we can take as many as we want, and we don't have to worry about making those end bosses a lot harder, because in Kefka's Tower, we have to split our party into 3, and that often means we're doing, a 2v1 boss fight where one of those characters is there to wear a Moogle charm. I think that's a good point from chat. If we, just looking at a pure levels perspective, Saris is very, they have endgame levels. They just need to find enough progression to get in the tower, and they'll probably have a consideration of, do I go for the skip? But and it's not to say our other runners are like low levels. I'm seeing like mid 30s, which is pretty good. But on Sarah's side, yeah, we're seeing approaching 40, and Tara has been wearing that egg the whole time, level 47. You can visually see now why early eggs are so powerful. Not only because they boost that one character, but new characters join at the average level of all the existing characters, and so an early egg will mean that characters are joining at higher levels than they would have otherwise.
I do like Leaf play here going into the Dream here. Dream, the first two parts of Dream is going to be guaranteed either Esper or item, not necessarily a character. Character might be at the end of it. They're at 5 Espers right now, so this is a great play out of them to try to get a couple Espers under the belt, possibly 3 Espers underneath the belt. By the time they get to the end of this. Boris there's a pretty decent fight for some experience over here on the right side of the screen with Saris. Dwea's taking the leap over the waterfalls, getting their Tom Petty on. And Sigil doing the Moogle check. Actually, not Moogle check. This is a open world check, actually. Kefka, which you defend Narsh. Kefka at Narsh is what we call it. That check is opened anytime, so you can do this anytime during the run. Sometimes, if you can't find characters, the character actually might be algorithmed into being in that spot. So it's a nice check, especially if you have Mog, because you're going to have to go to the top of there for the Wolf check, which is in the World of Balance. You start Wolf in the treasure room. You chase them to the top of the hill. When you come back down the hill, you can run and do the Kefka check there. And that Kefka check will actually take you into the room where you find Terra when they get knocked out at the beginning of the game. They'll actually take you into that room, which will put you into Mog's other check, which is Moogle Defense, is when Terra collapses inside the cave and Locke goes to rescue her with the Moogles. It actually takes you immediately to that check. So Mog has a great series of checks that you can do 3 checks back to back during that series. So,
indeed. Unfortunately for Leaf, they did not get progression as the first reward.
Oh no! So unfortunately, in Dream, that's the only negative part. Once you go in Dream, you're stuck there. You got to finish it. You cannot back out. You cannot warp out. So, Dwayne is about to get her shadow here. Saris Rose, we already know that's the Palador Esper, as the octopus is chasing them down the tracks. Sigil's going to go, looks like, to the throne room, which we already know is Strago.
So a fun part about this Dream segment where Leaf is if we took our Moogle charm off and got in a fight here, everyone would have Magitech.
Yeah.
And be able to laser.
Now, if you do, I wonder, I've never tried this before. If you do Magitech facility, we do have a flag. We do have what, sorry?
So, if we unlock it by doing the end of Magitech, because there's a flag that unlocks the missile and basically the Terra Magitech abilities from...
Right, I'm wondering if everybody gets that in the Dream.
It's a good question.
I've never tried that. Anybody want to try that? Everybody knows?
That often. I've seen it situationally used that, like, let's say we came to Dream as our first check and we had, like, a single Super Ball that we used to get through the first fight. And then we got Asper, and it was like, oh, it's got Fire 3 on it or something. Even with very bad starting abilities, we would probably still be able to get through a couple grind fights in our mechs. I think I've seen it like one time in a live race, but it's just one of those interesting things.
This is a funky boss over here on Leafblown's side. They are fighting Tritosh. Tritosh really only weak to armor ignoring attacks like Atma Weapon and Grand Train, or fire attacks, or which is what they're weak to. Any other kind of attack basically does nothing to them. So as you can see with this Yeti swings, doing 0 damage to them. But the Atma Weapon, as you can see, doing a lot more damage there.
Yeah, we generally need fire.
Fire.
Sarah pick up a second ammo weapon.
Well, we don't want fire because this is a firefighters, marathon event. So we don't want fire actually. So
We want. You got to throw heat packs. This is like an ice rescue situation, right? And so we gotta restore the proper temperature of Tritok in order to get past that.
just a quick update here on some stats as we do find a new character, Locke, on Sigil's side. That is going to be their 9th character. So KT Skip here with the Locke pickup, I believe. Nope, that is their 8th. Nope, I'm sorry, that is their 8th character. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That is their 8th character. I'm sorry. They still need one more. They have not picked up Mog yet or Cyan yet. So we do know there are those characters available to us pretty immediately right now. Leaf is at 7 characters, 7 espers. Dwyer has 7 characters, 8 espers. They've definitely picked up the pace from before. While Saris Rose, 7 characters, 9 espers. They have KT unlocked. They're diving into the tower right now.
So if I'm remembering correctly, with Moogle Cup, in order to get the skip, you have to have 2 of 9 characters, 12 espers, or 22 checks, which we did intentionally because we wanted new players to learn how to walk Kefka's tower. So that was removed from Moogle Cup 2. Okay, I'm remembering.
Yeah, that was removed. Moogle Cup 1. We had that. Moogle Cup 2. We don't. You had to go 2 of the 3. We'll also note that Saris Rose, 7 characters, 9 espers, 18 checks. So they do not have the skip availability to them right now. So it looks like they are going to have to do a full pull in the tower.
Yeah, they don't really have. I mean, there's 3 checks in the tower, but getting all 3 can take some time.
And it's only going to give them the 21. They need 22.
Yeah, there's not.
So that's still not going to be enough for them.
Path for them to quickly get 4 checks. So I think it totally makes sense to just send it, especially with an egg boosted.
By the way, Goddess goes down on Citrus side there on his side of the screen. Dwea, now you can actually peek this check here. Let's see if she pets the dog. Hey, she pets the dog. See, validated. She's the only one that did it. You can do a pre-peek there. You talk to the little girl there in the room that tells you what the reward is as Genji Glove. That was not an Esper or a character, so she's going to move on. Windblown Leaf, take it down the Atma outside the castle there. That's got the update there. Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say we did see the dog pet. So at this point, it's like even before this, we as runners have been thinking about like, all right, what are my tools? Like, what's my party gonna be for the final fight? We know that there is an Atmo weapon floating around. We've got an Illumina floating around. The Yeti is a very physical damage character. And Gao has like Grand Train, which is non-elemental defense ignoring. So we got pretty good coverage. Like I would be feeling pretty confident. I like Terra in the middle to take on the most stuff because she's the beast and needs more levels always.
Yeah, Saris's Terra is Genji Glove, Atma Weapon, Lumina, which just dealt around 18,000 damage just now. She is level Terra is level 53 or 54 now on just god tier levels here. And that is a dead check on Sigil's side, by the way. That is not an Esper laying on the ground. That's an NPC. So this is going to be a dead check for them, but they're going to do it anyways. I believe Sigil is...
Especially for a Doom fight. If I didn't save before, then I would, this is where you just have to kind of take it. And because it's kind of like, well, when did I save last? If that's the question I'm asking, then I'm not going to reset out of this fight. I'm just going to power through and at least it's levels. Dwaya heading up Fanatic's Tower after seeing it was not a character.
Yep, I believe this is an Esper, though, so this will also give her 3 checks off of this. She has the older tracking system, so I'm not sure how many checks they've done so far. So for right now, nobody has a skip, so as far as I can tell. The only one that'd be close to skip is Sigil, but they just did a dead check. Oh, got an ammo weapon out of it, though. Oh, pet the dog.
Yep. Yeah, because Sigil's at 8/8 with 2 dragons, plus a couple of non-progression checks along the way. Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see the skip out of anyone. Because Windblown is going to get their final Esper here.
By the way, guys, haven't seen the high score number there you see at the bottom of the screen there. That is the donation drive that we're doing for the South Carolina Burn Children's Fund. Be sure to keep that number going up. We want to see that number going for this great event. Again, all the proceeds go to the children, goes to the charities. So shout out to Final Fantasy Randomizer, the Twitch channel for the winter 2024 Rando Marathon for that. We want to see that number keep going up, guys. You're watching the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer version of this game. This is the 4 people you see on the screen are recent new, I guess you say, inductees to our community. We do something that's called the Moogle Cup. We help teach people how to speedrun this game. Not only do you just run by yourself, you get a mentor or coach that sits with you that helps you run through this entire game. We do a competition. We call it the Moogle Cup. And the winner goes to spoils. The 4 runners you see on here were all quarterfinalists from that recent tournament about a month ago. So hope you're enjoying all the action.
Yeah, I know there's some upcoming incentives that have been flashing around. I know one that is always a fan fave coming up in the Link's Awakening DX randomizer is the Marin date, as well as adding on photo percent. Those are both open, and that'll be a for run this evening. I was just looking because I know a couple of like the Castlevania Rando kind of block coming up in the later in the afternoon are both met, although there's still a couple bid wars for file names and Link sprites, and even in the next run, we can replace one of the Kongs in DK64 Rando with Crusha, which right now, yes, is winning.
By the way, Spicy Chicken's in the chat if you got them. Spicy Chicken's in the sky there for a Sigil.
Was that another organic?
Yeah, because I have not seen Setzer, so I think that was just an organic. Hey, I just ran into you in the sky. We have flying chickens.
So that's 2 for 4 on.
Oh, that's an Esper too. That's huge. If you don't have Setzer, that's huge. Was that unlocked for them?
That's 10 for them.
Oh, okay.
They were heading to the tower.
They're on their way to the tower.
Which for me, I know is generally where they love to show up. It's either very early, the first time you try to fly in World of Ruin, or it's on the way to the tower. They like to hang out.
So I just want to toss out real quick that it was very funny that you brought up the Date Marin incentive, because I had just thrown $50.
Hey, great minds think alike.
Especially if the sprite that gets picked is Marin. We get to see a really good
go-go.
Self-care situation. Did I hear go-go?
Yeah, so the reward for doing Haydn Cave is Go-Go. That is character number 4 there for Leaf. Sigil just doing their dive into the tower right now at 1 hour, 3 minutes, 45 seconds. Saris Rhodes getting through one of their boss fights here. Fortunately, Edgar goes down. I don't know if that was one of their main characters or not. I
Gogo
don't
very
think so.
polarizing character in the Worlds Collide community. They have usually mediocre stats at best. They cannot equip espers to boost those stats. And their check involves getting eaten by a giant monster and then more frustratingly trying to get by some greed bullies that guard the bridges inside of this monster. They can be very
Which
good
is
because they can't equip espers. If we have like a magic based offense, they can kind of immediately slot in to be just a utility caster, and that's less menuing that we're doing. They can also mimic, can be very powerful early, mimicking like a rod break, a shield break, or a super ball. At this point, they're probably not coming on the squad though.
And by the way, Dwyer, not too far behind Sigil here, doing their dive in the tower. They just got unlocked there. Saris Rose on the switches for the final battle of Kefka. Now, Kefka is in 4 different stages. We'll help walk you through what each stage means and how you beat each stage here. And as soon as we get our party built up, we like to do a little thing. We like to do a little bidding war. How long will it take Saris to get through this tower fight? 1:05:28 is going to be the start time right there. So how long do you think it will take Saris to get to the top of the tower? First off, Tier 1. How do we do Tier 1, Fitz?
So Tier 1, the open hand is weak to instant death. Everything on this tier is a physical attack with the exception of a couple of like status ailments that they can throw out. So throwing up Fenrir is a good mitigation. That pretty much is going to mean we won't get hit. We want to doom that shorthand just to make that go a lot faster. And then the main thing after that is we don't want to kill the head and the closed fists at the same time. If that happens, the head will cast Quake, which with Saris's party, everyone would live through, to be perfectly honest. Once the head is down, we focus on the hands. The closed fist likes to counter attack. And so if our armor is bad or we have front row characters, we have to be careful not to queue up too many actions because they might knock someone down. Any character that is down when we transition tiers here is out of the fight for the rest of the time. So in runs where we're really reliant on one powerful character that is devastating and we want to avoid it at all costs. And on the tier 2, how do we do this one, Saberwolf?
Well, Tier 2 is a 4-headed beast right here on the left side of the screen. Looks like the character pointing away from that is called Magic. In the middle of the screen where that numbers just popped up there, that is called Tools. Now, they're also weak to instant kill, not to petrify like Long Arm is, just the kill, Doom, X-Zone, stuff like that. Going back to Magic again, really quick, Siren, Mute, they are weak to Mute. So if you just mute them, Magic just basically does nothing for the rest of the fight, pretty much. Over on the right side of the screen there is what we call Bluey or Hits. All they do is punch. That's it. When you kill them, they hit you 10 times. But if we have Fenrir up, we have Golem up, that's going to take care of that. No problem at all. And last but not least, right there, the lower right-hand part where blue guy is sitting on, that's called Tiger. They do ridiculously powerful attacks. Also turns your characters into zombies sometimes. They're actually weak to ice, so just spam Ice 3 on them. So the order of operations is try to instantly kill Tools. Then you mute Magic. Hit Ice Magic onto Tiger or single target attacks onto Tiger. And if you want to, you can actually use Stop on Hits, the blue guy. He's actually weak to Stop, and he'll just sit there and do nothing until he dies and just hits you 10 times.
Yeah, indeed. The main dangers are Tiger can do a lot of things that this is, I would say, is the most like RNG tier just because of the way, the monsters determine their scripts. But I think Tiger in the back half of their hit points is when they get access to their more dangerous stuff. Like, North Cross can freeze the whole party. I know there's a couple of community members that are strongly against North Cross as it exists because it's bad. Especially if the whole party gets frozen, there's really nothing we can do but wait. The other dangerous thing that they'll often do is they love to... inflict the zombie status on a powerful character who will then proceed to murder the rest of the party. Saris just deftly navigated that. They're very powerful and they have all the tools available. So we're moving on to tier 3. We've got the floating figure behind the sitting person. They have 9,999 hit points. They absorb all elements, and they will resurrect the other part if not taken down first. The fella sitting on the weird throne is Rest, and they have a bunch of hit points. In the first half of those hit points, they will like cast Merton and Condemned and Weird Wind, or W Wind as it's actually called. When they get in the back half, they can counter any attack with either this Train, which puts Dark and Mute on everyone, or worse, Meteo, which is a powerful attack that can miss. We have to kind of be careful about where we take our turns. They're already through, but with less power, we have to be careful about how we take our turns, because what we don't want to happen is them to take their counter for a Meteo and then have their normal turn happen and also cast Meteo, because usually someone's going down after a double Meteo. We kind of get into a damage race in the back half of that tier 3, but we're on the tier 4, the final form. How do we take down this clown, Saberwolf?
Well, how we take down the winged clown angel here, Kefka, is at first we want to try to do enough damage to prevent them to do Falling One, which Falling One takes all your characters. It drops down to 1 HP. However, if we do enough damage to to Kefka before he gets to that stage, then he won't actually do it. He'll just go straight into what's called the Goner stage. Goner stage is his very powerful laser attack that basically deals damage across your entire party, which is this right here with the Beyond Chaos. That means he's going to Garner charge up. This is when you dump all the damage you can possible onto them, because they cannot counterattack, they cannot do anything. If Kev gets too low on HP, he will start counting you with Hyper Havoc Wing, stuff like that, to kill your party off. Or they cast Ultima, but Crack Pow, before I even get done talking about it, 1:11:42 is the official time there for Saris. GG on the race win.
Yeah, get those GGs out there. They really did an incredible job of gaining power quickly, recognizing that power, and really just putting the pedal to the floor. And they beat Kefka faster than we could explain how to do it. And that usually means you're having a fast time. So big GGs to them. The rest of our runners still in it here, still putting up, very good times, especially, if we look back at their first Moogle Cup seed compared to now. Just incredible growth, and so big shout outs to their effort that they put in, as well as the various mentors that gave them a nudge and just helped them out with info along the way.
Awesome job there. Now, Fitz, I know you got to drop off here a little bit here, but I want to thank you for joining me and help me out with this for this great event. We're doing an awesome event here, Final Fantasy Randomizer for Good Cause. It's the Winter 2024 Marathon for the South Carolina Burn Children's Fund. Again, 100% of funds go to that great charity. I know, like I said, you got to drop off for right now, but anything you want to say before you run off?
Yeah, I will be back. I am running a couple times. I got a PK scramble on Saturday afternoon, doing some Worlds Collide. We'll be seeing a different set of flags for that one on Sunday evening, and then I'll be doing comms on the overnight Saturday relay as well. So it's not the last of me. I do have to run for the work call, but thanks for calling in and preemptive GGs to the rest of they're not Moogles anymore, the Umaros.
Oh.
Let them know that they all did an incredible job and thank them for signing up to do it.
Yep, and what you mentioned for about the Worlds Collide one, there'll be a Sunday morning, 6 a.m. right here on Final Fantasy Randomizer. It will be Turdsman, Taco Mage, and Paso Morpheus along with you on comms, and you'll be joined by the Schwans 27. That'll be right here at 6 a.m. on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and sign it off and turn it over to you for finishing this out.
Alrighty, we'll do. And then whenever we can get Cirrus pulled into the room, we'll give him a little bit of interview breakdown for our winner, as the rest of our troop of Moogles is finishing up the thing. Dwight just hitting the switches on there. Looks like Windbone Leaves taking out the statues one by one. They're catching up from behind. Sigil is on tier 2, making their way through tier 2 of Kefka. But in the room, we have Cirrus Rose with us. GG on the marathon race win. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you good.
Awesome. Yeah, I was chugging that time.
You were moving.
Was I? But here's the important thing. Was I the first one to the Opera House?
Well, I mean, you and Sigil got there at the exact same time. Dewey was like about 30 seconds to a minute behind you. Windbow Leaf didn't go to Opera House till probably a good 10 minutes into the run. They decided to do some looting first before going there. And then they did Sid right afterwards and then kept going. So they actually got both of them done first. But yeah, you and Sigil pretty much were lockstep for the opera, so.
Yeah, I didn't even bother checking my characters.
But speaking of characters, Terra level 50 something, she was hitting hard.
Yeah, she was hitting mighty hard. I mean, I don't even know how much she needed that strength Esper. She was just doing, quad 9s twice. I felt bad for that Illumina. I don't think anyone was even wearing it at the end.
It's pretty rough when the Illumina gets left on the shelf to rust, and you have other, I guess, better options. But Gal was also awesome. Awesome lore set for them.
Yeah, I didn't end up really needing too much. I liked the Pearlwind, but I mean, the Grand Train is just super nice, starting up. And then the Shock Strago. Did anyone else get Strago?
Pretty much everybody got almost all the characters. I think everybody had like 8 characters total. Actually, in fact, one person actually found Go-Go, too. That was a late add-in. They were the reward for doing Haydn, the Haydn cave check. So if you wanted the 9th, I guess you could say Go-Go was the 9th character for a skip if everybody was looking for that. Citra, by the way, tier 3, Dwaya tier 1, and Windbone Leaf is catching up fast on Dwaya's heels. They're about to start Kefka Climb right now. I'm glad that everybody in the group did keep the Yamaru in the party throughout the entire run. I know during school is going to be very thankful for that.
I mean, you gotta. He's the best character in the game.
How much did he pay you guys to say this?
Look, when you have a stacked party like we have, Yeti can't bring you down.
Fair enough. And I mean, all of you have graduated past Moogle stage. You're now at Ultros League stage, which is our official racing level set, where almost all our flag sets are based off of for these series. But you all have graduated into the Ultros League now. So how's that going for you?
It's been going really well. It's a lot of fun getting to see, all the different times. There's so many people running and so many seeds to run, so there's a lot to compare yourself to if you're the competitive type. I mean, this community is just great. There's always stuff going on. Everybody's super helpful. You can ask the weirdest questions at 2 a.m. I just
and you get answers, and you get answers at 2 a.m. too. So
yeah. And if you start to get bored of the Ultros League settings, we have some really freaky flag sets we can do. So there's a lot of fun.
Yeah, if you get on every mornings, you run into Hefe and Jexi. They are 2 mad scientists that do complete hardcore randomized every single morning. Some of these runs or seeds they get are almost completely unplayable. So if you want really high difficulty, reach out to Jex Varrock and Hefe. They get to some interesting things.
It looks like we might be seeing a finish from Sigil in just a second.
Yep, there's a Grand Drain going off here for Gao here. He's been hitting hard all game long with those earrings and everything. And that is not quite pal. Quadra Slice Sabin. So Sabin actually has Sword Tech. That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's
and
probably
it's doing
the
a ton
best
of
ability you
damage.
could have on Sabin. That's another 20,000 damage. Crack Pow for Sigil with the official time of 1:19:36.
GG Sigil. I mean, these are great times when you factor in we all had to do the opera and save or kill Sid, the banana man.
Oh yeah, I was surprised because I was like, "Yep, the looting's gonna take a little longer than usual because on top of the looting, you gotta do all this extracurricular stuff, on the side." But you guys knocked it out of the park in a couple sub 120s. I mean, that's what we like to see around here. But as for being the winner, Sarah, is anything you want to say real quick?
Nothing really, just GG to all the runners. Thanks to everyone who makes this such an awesome community. And, I hope that our last two runners here have a final time with Kefka. There's still a lot of spiciness that can happen.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's not over yet. We got a neck-and-neck race between Dwaya and Windblown Leaf. And Sarah, I want to thank you for running today.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Once again, you're watching the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomized racing. We had a 4-way race for our Moogle Cup players from about a month ago. All 4 of these players were in the quarterfinals for that event. And now joining us in the booth is second place for this marathon run is Sigil. How you doing?
Good, yourself?
I am doing fantastic on this fantastic day as we try to help the South Carolina Burn Children's Fund is a charity dedicated to easing the recovery process of pediatric burn patients and their families in South Carolina. Again, 100% of these proceeds go to that thing. We want to keep that high score going up and up and up and help out for this good cause. So how did the run go for you, Sigil?
Very fun. I had a lot of fun this run.
Now, I noticed everybody did the, community agreement. Everybody used the Eddie to the end.
That was my plan from the start, if we hit that incentive.
Now, Sabin, by the way, awesome Possum Sabin, Sword Tech, 5,000 damage a pop. That was pretty good.
Yeah. I was hoping he'll learn it by the time I got to Kefka.
Oh, did you not have Cyan?
I never found Cyan.
Okay, we found, I think all but, 3 characters for the whole run. So I wasn't sure who found who at some point because at one point I think all of you had 7 or 8 characters and only 3 or 4 espers. So it was hard, and all of them weren't even the same characters. So that's how crazy this character was.
6 or 7 espers to 4 characters at one point. Where was Cyan?
Cyan was in the ancient castle, I believe.
Yeah, I wasn't going there by the time I found Edgar.
Yeah, I mean, it was Sabin and Edgar were together in Nars. I believe Cyan was in the basement of the ancient castle. Strago was on the throne. Gogo was behind Haydn. Mog, I don't even remember where Mog is. Shadow was at the bottom of the falls, I believe.
Yeah.
Are you telling us Ancient Castle wasn't dead this time?
No, Ancient Castle is not dead. It was Cyan for Dream to get your Sword Tech Sabin online.
I had Sabin with Illumina anyway, for the most part.
Yeah, I mean, if anytime you have Sabin, who's has a very high base vigor stat, is usually going to be a great pickup anytime he can use a big weapon. He doesn't usually use weapons, but thanks to Randomizer, we are able to equip him with pretty cool weapons and stuff. But I want to catch up on Dwaya and Windblown Leaf here, both on tier 3, taking out. Looks like Leaf just took out Girl, possibly. Double Atma Genji Glove offering action coming out of their Edgar here. As Dwaya puts on double protection here on the Gao, who's ticking down on the clock here. Trying to take out Sleep. Both Gaos on both sides of the screen, both taking Grand Train here. Try to take out Sleep. Dwyer did have a slight advantage going in first here. Ooh, but Dwyer's going to get slowed down by this Trine right now, which is going to blind and mute everybody on the team. There goes Gao with the Doom countdown. So, Joe, how was the run overall for you? Like, you had to do the extra incentives and stuff. How was the run overall? I mean, you guys got sub 120. I mean, that's amazing considering all the extra stuff we threw at you here.
Yeah. I felt the run was fine overall. It felt weird routing in the Sid check.
Yeah, I know some of you were like, how you do Sid? How you do Upper House? We've never done this before. But you guys knocked it out of the park. You all did it perfectly fine. By the way, Windbone Leaf taking a slight lead over Dwaya. Dwaya losing half their party. Yumaro is not going to make it to the end. Oh, no.
Oh.
Oh, by the way, Sarah Sigil, did you pet the dog? I don't think
Yes, I did, actually.
You did pet the dog. Okay.
I walked past it, then ran back.
I never went to the dog, so
no.
we can call this a win for Sigil.
Disqualified, yeah.
But at least I didn't see the dog and ignore him.
Okay. No, but all you try to attack a dog in the Coliseum, trying to get a reward there.
Was there anything in Coliseum? I didn't check.
Oh, there was tons of shields and stuff in Coliseum. There was tons of stuff.
I got an Atma weapon and 3 armless.
Yeah, there was Atma weapons, armlets, shields. There was rods. I mean, there was tons of stuff in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Windbone Leaf coming from behind here. Double Atma weapon. Edgar here. Crack pow. Windbone Leaf passes. Way at the finish line. 1:26:11 is their official time for Leaf. And Dwaya hanging on by a thread here, trying to keep her party up in the action. Sabin and Terra is really the only 2 characters here that are fighting Kefka. Shadow and Edgar are not part of the main party. So really, it's really a 2-on-1 here fight instead of a 4-on-1 fight here. But definitely trying to pop these, that's Shadow and Edgar. But trying to pop these X potions, trying to keep them up in case she can't get through this Goner stage. As Goner does do less damage the more characters you have on screen. So sometimes, even though your character might not be a part of the original party, you can lower the amount of damage your party can take from the Goner attacks. Also, they can try to break some shields. So you did have a lot of shields in this run. There's a Thunder Pearl Rod. That's just good enough. Just trying to chuck anything she can at this Goner stage, because once Kefka's in this Goner stage, they cannot counter or attack you back. There's the Thunder Shield coming out now from Shadow.
Yeah, Goner phase is always tense because you want to spam as much stuff as you can, but if any of your stuff ends up in the queue after Goner, you can trigger some pretty nasty counters.
Well, unfortunately, Goner does go through now, so now we're in a very shaky situation here. Shadow is still up to mitigate some of the damage. Dice roll coming out of Sabin. Looks like they are low on HP or they're just muted. Trine coming out. That is going to mute and blind her entire party now. By the way, if you do have a Relic of Ribbon with a Unicorn Esper, that can definitely take it off your entire party. But oh no, it's an Ultima counter! This could take out the whole party, and not quite. Terra hangs in there. Another swing. Crack pow, she gets it.
Oh my god, I'm gonna throw up.
By the skin of her teeth, 128-14, Dwaya crosses the line. Now that is an exciting finish for you all.
200 HP.
Dwaya, way to put everybody on edge there at the end.
Hey, I believe in a good show.
Oh my goodness! But GG to all of you. Way to put everybody on edge there at the end.
Now
To GG for you. Come back from behind, by the way, Leaf. Last one in the tower. but double Atma weapon.
Oh my goodness.
Well, GG to all of you. Leaf also jumping in the booth now to GG for your comeback from behind, by the way, Leaf.
I believe
Last
the
one
term
the
is
tower,
God King Edgar.
but double Atma weapon Genji glove offering Edgar carried
And he
you
proved
through that.
it. Octo Atma Edgar is shout outs to Quick. I believe
for
the
the
term is
perfect
God
ending.
King Edgar.
Oh, that was fun.
Nice.
And he proved it.
But
Very
Leaf,
nice.
did you take Yeti all the way through?
Shout outs to Quick for the perfect ending. I mean,
Every-
I didn't have a lot of other
Oh,
people
nice.
to take.
Oh, okay.
Skill sets were. I debated dropping
Very
Yeti
nice.
for the shock Strago.
Ooh.
Ooh.
But it's
I mean,
shock.
every-
I didn't have a lot of
Can you
other
blame me for being
people to take. Skill
Well,
sets
I mean,
were.
everybody did
I
take Yeti to the
debated
end.
dropping
Almost,
Yeti
but that wasn't
for
really your
the
fault.
shock
You
Strago.
kind of got whiplash there on tier 3.
But it's shock
Um,
Strago. Can you blame me for being?
But I will
tempted?
say that almost
Well,
everybody.
I mean,
pet the
everybody
dog.
did take
That was
Yeti to
good
the
too.
end. Way almost, but that wasn't
So
really your fault.
how was the
You
run,
kinda
guys? I mean, I know you guys don't
whiplash
normally
there
do
on
the
tier 3.
Opera House and the
but I will
save,
say
kill, set
that
kind of
almost
thing.
everybody pet the dog.
Running that
So that
in
was good
along
too.
doing your looting and everything. How'd that go?
So
for everybody? how was the run, guys? I mean, I know you guys don't normally do the Opera
routing it
House
in was
and
fine.
the
I've
save, kill,
never
set kind of
actually
thing.
done the save,
Running
kill,
that
sit
in along doing
while
your
playing
looting and
the
everything.
rando,
How'd that go?
so I had to remember how to like get the fish and reset them and all that. So, but other than that, it was fun.
I mean, it was easy enough for me to fit route in because I figured with starting Yeti, I could find something in the. If I did the looting run, I could find something in the Coliseum. And the answer was you could trade a mithril knife for an Atma weapon. What a deal!
I know, Lee.
Also,
Yeah.
Also, shout outs to winning that Coliseum match and then flying away and immediately running into Sky Pulsey.
Yeah, that was a couple of you when somebody ran into Spicy Chicken there on the way to Final Kefka. I forget who it was. I think it was Sigil,
That
right?
was me.
Yeah. Yeah. Spicy Chicken's like, nope, do not. You shall not pass.
Well, it is the one statue that looks like it could fly. So
That is true. That is
Yeah.
true.
But routing in the Sid check was pretty easy since I bought Super Balls. I just go straight to the Water Ruin Opera House for the dragon.
Yeah.
I routed that in later. Didn't see any do it early.
I actually never did the Opera Dragon.
I think I did 5 dragons in this run.
Yeah, somebody was doing like Oops All Dragons here, and also was Oops All
Yeah.
Characters, as all you got, I think, 8 characters each. The only ones that were not found, I believe, was Celeste, my girl, unfortunately, was not found. I want to say Setzer wasn't found either. And I think there was like one other one that was
I mean,
not found.
I didn't find Locke, Salus Shadow Realm.
Realm, that
or
was the other
Setzer.
one.
Because
Yeah,
I had
Realm,
visual on
Setzer,
Saban.
Realm, Setzer, and Celeste were the only 3 characters not found on this run.
Where was Shadow? Why is ending party?
Shadow was.
Bottom of Falls.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Couldn't
And Locke,
remember.
and Locke was the mountain by South Figaro.
Oh, Mount Colts. Oh,
Yes.
I almost went there. I wish I would have.
Oh,
now.
I didn't. You see, I went up for Try Talk and was like, "It's a character. I have enough other options. I'm not doing Saban, and we'll see if it burns me."
All right,
I'm not
guys.
gonna
I'm going to jump right in here. Anything you guys want to say real quick before we throw it back over to our host here, Final Fantasy Randomizer? I'll start with the order of finishes. So, Saris.
just thanks everybody for being great. Thank you for Saber for doing the comms. Thank you, Fitz, wherever you are. And thank you to the marathon runners for letting us join. And
Thank you
I'm
for
sorry
that.
I didn't pet the dog.
Yeah, Saris didn't pet the dogs. Technically, Sigil is our unofficial winner. Sigil, go ahead.
Thank you for the comms and the restream, and thank you for letting us take part in the marathon.
Awesome. Leaf.
Thanks. Like my racers here said. Thanks for marathon. Thanks for the free stream. Please donate to some of these donations as I'm watching go across the screen here. I'd personally like to shout out the Sunday night Metroid Prime 2 run just because my friend's in there. But
Hey, there you go. Shout out to them too. And last but not least, Dwayne with the exciting finish.
Hey, well, not to sound like a broken record, but thanks to everybody putting this on. It's been an honor to be a part of this, and I really hope to be able to do it again sometime. And thanks for everybody out there that's donating and really supporting this cause.
Thank you very much. And once again, you're watching the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide randomizer version of this entire Rando Marathon. It is the FFR Final Fantasy Randomizer Winter 2024. I want to thank them for doing that. This was our Moogle Cup run. So if you're interested in the game, you want to get some mentoring, want some help, this is the perfect foundation to do that with. Just head over to ff6worldscollide.com. Put a little /Discord at the end of that. You can join our Discord on that. Once again, this is for the South Carolina Firefighters Burn Children's Fund. The purpose of the fund is to support the recovery of well-being of burn injured children residing in South Carolina and their families, and hence burn awareness, prevention, and related community risk reduction initiative, through partnerships with emergency service organizations in South Carolina, and assist burn centers, medical facilities, and care providers in their mission to offer quality burn care to children and firefighters in South Carolina. We do have more Final Fantasy VI Randomizer coming up again on Sunday morning, 6 a.m. We'll have Turdsman, Taco Mage, Possum Morpheus, One Free Fits will be back, along with the Schwans 27. They're going to have a different format of a run, so a little bit different run for you all for that. And we'll be right here on twitch.tv/Final Fantasy Randomizer. And I'll throw it over to Saracen or Darkmoon.
Thank you so much to everybody from Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide community for coming out for this. If y'all are interested in coming back, we love having you. We do 2 of these marathons a year, so just keep an eye out. We like to continue partnering with all of our friends across all the different randomizers. And thank you again for the shout-outs for the Burn Children's Fund. The mission to support the development of pediatric burn care and treatment, recovery of burn-injured children and their families, research and education, firefighter safety and injury prevention, burn awareness, and fire prevention. Fantastic organization. The big event that they run each year is Camp Can Do, which is a summer camp for burn injured children. Let them be themselves, let them have a real bonding experience with other people who have similar injuries to them. Build happy memories, which I think everybody can appreciate, right? Let kids be kids. And this organization does a fantastic job of supporting that mission while putting all of that money towards the kids. So your donations are all very much appreciated. I will be passing over the reins of host to my good friend Phoenix, who I believe is already in the booth. Hey, Phoenix.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
That's fair. Totally fair.
Yeah. But I do appreciate you coming a little early to let me sneak out and rest a bit. It's been
no
a
worries,
rough
buddy.
week.
Yeah.
But with that, Phoenix, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Saracen. Go get some rest, buddy. Thanks for volunteering this morning. Thanks for the Final Fantasy VI Worlds Collide folks coming in. That was a fantastic race, as we saw right at the end with the barely alive Terra knocking Kefka off. We are going to roll in a few minutes to Donkey Kong 64 Randomizer. We have met one of the incentives for Krusha replacing one of the Kongs. That's always going to be fun. So we're going to get set up here. We're going to take a quick time out, and then as soon as we get back, we're going to roll right into that.